All right, welcome, folks. Mil-Spec Ops Mccoy here. This is going to be your sit rep for Friday, 1 p.m. Central Time, coming to you from the great state of Texas. It is November 19th. And without further ado, let me hop on over. Hey, just remember, you're on the 19th day of No Shave November. And so if your beard is starting to get scratchy and your wife's complaining, you want to soften that thing up and keep it clean, go check out our beard care products. A new line for us, and we're pretty psyched on it. So, all right, there's that. Let me hop back over here. Without further ado, let's get on over to the board. And so this is kind of an interesting day. We're watching, obviously, Kyle just got cleared of all charges, which I think is great. But I think we just started, we just broke the seal on riot season, because I will guarantee by tonight, I'll be shocked by tonight if we aren't in full blown riot mode up in Kenosha. All right. So, but that said, some interesting things on the board today. I just want to point out, East Coast is still popping. Now, if you guys remember, we've been talking all week about some of the activity that's been going on. You may remember I was talking about some of these air refuelers that were off the coast of the Carolinas all the way up to Connecticut, really. I mean, it's just been basically the whole East Coast has been cranking. And so we're back at it again today. One of the things I was going to point out, one of these aircraft looks to be a lease. It's actually an air refueler that is owned and operated by Wilmington Trust Company, which you don't see that for military very often. But yeah, this was the scene as you're looking at it there during the week earlier. Now, we're repeating that today. We just had, let me kind of zoom in here. I'm going to cover a couple different things that caught my eye. We just had air refueler. This one right here just came back in off of the right over just east of Jacksonville. But we had a R135 come all the way down, run a little route, and then back up to DC. So that one ran down the whole coast, which is similar. We've had to be 703s doing it. So these are spy birds, right? They're gathering data. Why are they running down our coast? I don't know. But they've got a lot of eyes on. And then the other thing, too, I was going to point out, let me see. We've got another B703 that's running routes here. This is Kentucky this time. Now, remember, you got DOJ that was just in Owensboro. And now you got you got an aircraft running routes here. This is Spybird, B703. And then we've got 3 E6, which are airborne command centers that are up over the U.S. Right now. And so, and what is really strange, you don't see, now this is your E6. One of them's down here off of the, down in the Gulf of Mexico running around. So there's that one. Okay. And let me see, I've got, which was really strange. We had 2 night watches up. You got Gordo 14 out here coming off the coast of California, West Coast. And then I just saw another one here, Rocky something. Let me see if I can find it again. Let's see. Where did you go? But yeah, you don't see 2 night watches up very often. That's kind of a rare thing. Here it is, Rocky 25. And that one is up as well. Let me turn it off because this is giving me some clutter here on the screen. I'm going to take off the air refueling routes because it's really clogging things up. So, but yeah, here is your other. This one looks like he's just about to land, but that's Rocky 25. So you got 1 night watch, which is a doomsday bird on the East Coast, 1 on the West Coast. And then at the same time, you've got 3 E6s, 1 down in the Gulf of Mexico, 1 up here in this general area. Let me just see if it's still on as we kind of look at our board here. I'm only showing 1. Well, that's in this one area. Here's 1 of your E6s right here. You can see he's been kind of bugging out. That's just north of North Carolina. So he's kind of hitting in that general area and then headed back now, but that's covering quite a bit of area. Then we've got 1 out here as well. Let me just back up so I can get all of those. Again, electronic suite is very, very heavy today. Okay, we got Hiram 11 right here in the center of the U.S. And then we've got this Amsel 10 out here on the West Coast, which is also, here's Night Watch right here, just landed. And now you got this Airborne Command Center off of San Francisco. So coast to coast, my friends. This is don't see that very often. And then R135, that's going to be Top Cat. We typically see them running routes just north of Cheyenne. It's across South Dakota into Wyoming. But again, we did just have one of those come down the whole East Coast. And again, he landed probably about 15 minutes before I went live. So interesting things. So I don't know what's going on out here on the East Coast. It looks like our tankers have settled down just a little bit as of right now. There's one actually coming in, landing now. It's Quake 71. You can see he was off the East Coast there too. So there is that. Just a ton of tankers up today. So which would indicate we got a lot of fighters up as well. So all right, now let's kind of press on real fast. Let me see if I've got. Get over here. Let's look at the marine traffic. I want to show you guys what we're looking like right now. This is actually after the $540 billion pushed into supply chain. It clearly wasn't used over here. If it was, this would not be an issue. This right here, folks, can be mitigated easily. They just don't have the expertise, the range and depth to go out and fix this, because they're clearly not, or they just are choosing not to, which is probably really the truth here. If you remember on the Great Reset, this is, supply chain is one of the biggest things they're going to start to pinch people on. So there is that. This is actually, let me kind of zoom in here. You can see the congestion inside the port going into Long Beach and into Los Angeles. So it has not changed. We looked at this on Monday. We looked at it again Wednesday, and it still looks the same. So not too much, although this area out here looks a little more, looks like they definitely have more coming inbound. So, and by the way, the greens are anchored. If I filter it on reds, greens, and the ones that are actually moving, it's insane. There's boats everywhere. So I'm not going to do that to you. All right. Okay. Now let's look at, while we're talking about that, let's go over here real fast to the volcanic activity. Now, remember last time we got together, it was down here in this general area. I think Japan, Indo kind of area for ash alerts. It looks like now we're sitting at these firing again. The one here in Russia has been really going off, putting a lot of ash out there. And then this one here in Alaska is also producing. So these two are producing. And then we've got 4 in here that just continue to vent every day. They push ash out, but they're not too much to the point where they're, other than disrupting some aviation stuff. And then La Palma, no let up in sight. So keep our eye on that one. I don't know, man. It's crazy. But like always, about 8 or 9 we have going actively spewing ash at the moment. Okay. And we always have that. So kind of the average now. So, okay, let's get over here to Flashbang and let's see what this guy's got going on here. So, there you have it. Going to be Broke Back Brandon. I think that's going to stick. So Sloppy Joe, as we see, he looks like he's headed to Delaware, leaving today at about 6:20, assuming he can find his way there. I don't know if you guys saw this push out by the Sun, where he's basically he gets off the helicopter and he doesn't have a clue. Like he just is, muddling along and trying to tell him where to go. And then, of course, he's just looking at what was he pointing at. And he starts following the guy up the grass, and it's pretty hideous. What's scary is the whole world is seeing this, and this may be, folks, really why we're seeing so much activity, on our maps relative to, East Coast and West Coast. Really, this looks to be very, I guess the uptick is pretty incredible. So. And once again, Open ADSB Exchange. Things wearing me out. I don't know why it hangs up on me every single time. So hopefully we'll have something other than white when we come back on our screen. So, okay. I do want to point out too, as Flashbang comes back, that he just met with Mexico Presidente, or actually the president of AMLO. Sorry, and he said that the border crisis isn't a deal with him during his summit. So not his real focus. So if that goes to tell you, this was actually New York Post, came out today, actually started yesterday. There is that. So you think he's going to even go down to the border? He's not going to. It's a non-issue for him. Okay. So, all right. So it looks like that our local governor here in Texas is actually going to be doing the right thing now. All right. Okay. Aircraft of interest in 23508. Now, this one is going to get your attention because this is really in the Let's Go Brandon swim lane, okay? Now, this is, again, in 23508 out of Phoenix, Arizona. You can see he's got some big old tires on there. That bad dude's made for landing in all kinds of remote little spots, patches. But this was his flight pattern the other day. And that is real. This isn't and somebody go on and draw. You can actually go back. We'll replay it here for a second, just so you can see. It is sped up a little bit, but he's quite the talent. Now that plane probably would do that pretty easily because he knows how to fly. It's not pulling a lot of G's to do that. So, guy's pretty talented though, an artist. And so, yeah, this is real, really happened. That was his flight. And there you have it. So, FJB. All right. Just thought I'd point that one out. Gives you a little Friday humor here. Okay. Here's our other one, too. We do have a Habal 572 that is up right now. Looks like it came out of Santa Fe, New Mexico, or at least it came online to where we can track it. I expect it's going to go offline here pretty quickly. It's now out over Oklahoma City. Altitude doesn't show, but my guess, here it is, 57.7. So it's just under 60,000 feet, well above commercial traffic. And we'll just continue to watch that. But that is your military. That's spy gear right there, folks. And every once in a while we get lucky and catch one on the map. So, all right. Okay. Now, here's the other one I want to talk about just for a brief minute. N412DE, this is going to be your sniffer. This thing is checking for chemical, biological, and nuclear weapons. And it's got lots and lots of apparatuses on it that will allow it to do so. Basically just taking air quality samples as it flies and then putting it into, computer system and identifying if there is any threat level. Okay. Now, if you look at all the stuff going on the East Coast, the fact that we got fighters up all over the place, the fact that we've got B703s and R135s running routes off the water, looking for something, really makes you kind of wonder what's going on. Now, the smallpox that they found the vials of at one of the Maersk labs was actually in this general area. I think it was kind of northwest of Philly. So this really isn't in the same area, and I think they today discovered that that it was a non-issue with that what they've found. So at least that's what the news is reporting. So, but I do want to just point out. Notice this is a waterway that's running through here, and the fact that this thing is running routes along the water. You'll see them do that a lot actually along the coast, the Baltimore port, areas like that. Now, the reason I bring that up is because clearly you're not going to get a submarine in here. It's not deep enough, wide enough. They would have a really hard time navigating that. Okay. But what you will get are Club Ks. Okay. And if those not familiar with the Club K, it is it's a Soviet system that is basically a shipping container that contains they're hidden 4 missiles. Okay. And these missiles, they're cruise missiles. So it basically hides itself. You can roll it in on a cargo ship. You can put it on a truck, the back of a tractor trailer, whatever it may be, and transport that thing anywhere. Okay, completely unseen. They are inert until they are activated. Okay, and so they can be remotely activated. But they hold 4 cruise missiles, and those cruise missiles can be nuclear, chemical, biological, or conventional. And basically, when you have that kind of a threat embedded inside the United States, you'd never know it. It takes about 4 to 5 seconds for those things to actually, the tube to go up and clear per rocket. So that thing can launch within a matter of 10, 15 seconds. All 4 of its of its missiles, and they're supersonic. And so they could be on target. If that was in Philly, they were trying to hit DC, it would take them, they'd be probably on target within about 5 or 6 minutes. It would not take long at all. And that threat, you can't come back and strike this threat because it's no longer a threat, right? So once they clear that missile tube, it's basically empty, and there's no replen to them, okay? At least not without getting them back to its point of origin. So they could be thousands of those things around. Remember, they control the ports, and Gulf Tainer down in Cape Canaveral is actually one of the biggest threats because Gulf Tainer is owned and operated by a company out of the UAE that is also the number one provider for this missile system, okay, in terms of movement. And so they're in bed like this with the manufacturer and the distributor for the Club K. So that's why we bring these up. So I don't know. This is very, very, I don't know. Something's not right. They've been in Philly now. You can look 17th, 18th, 19th. They've been doing a lot of flying in Philly. And I seriously doubt that's tied to smallpox. That's another one, same kind of route. All right. So there is that. And this is again yesterday on Thursday, same place. All right. So they've been in Philly now for a couple weeks. They certainly makes you kind of wonder when you're looking at our East Coast, the amount of increased activity, the fact that we got fighters up, the fact that we are looking for something, and then the fact that we've got this helo sniffing air in the Philly area for weeks now makes you think there's obviously a threat somewhere. Where or what, we don't know, but they're obviously concerned about something, right? All right, so there is that. And so this was the article. It said that the lab did not contain that virus, that it was something, it was vaccinia or something a little bit different. Okay. All right, now C-202 is en route. Let's see where it's headed. It's coming out of Camp Springs and headed northbound. So we don't know where it's headed. We will keep an eye on it, but it was in LaGuardia earlier this morning, and then came out of LaGuardia back to Joint Base, and now it's back on. And let's see, altitude. It's on the descent, 13,800 and 521 miles an hour, headed right into this weather. So more than likely, it's going to be landing somewhere in this general area here shortly. So keep an eye on it when we come back through, see if it's landed at 13,000. Should be 10 minutes. I don't know, maybe. We'll come back to it. All right. Now, Department of No Justice is currently en route right now from Albany, New York, headed down. So let's see where this thing went. Now, we know it was down in Greensboro. That was on Tuesday. Typically, you'll see them go back. So I would imagine they dropped the team off. They're going back to get them. They could be heading to Owensboro. I don't know. They were they've been on the move, and so this one's coming out of Albany, New York, and that left this morning. It's coming back, but it doesn't look. I can't tell. It's at 19,000 feet. Looks like it's not coming to DC. So we'll keep an eye on it, see what happens. But there is that. That is a Department of No Justice, and that is going to be your team. That I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see some activity here shortly up here in Kenosha. So, but there is that. All right. All right. Now, Spybird, Aloma 92. I was watching that one this morning coming out of Biggs Army Airfield. I don't know if it did anything. Yeah, it looks like it did do some stuff. So, ran some routes up here. We got some TFR hazards in that general area. So, doesn't look like anything major. It looks like it maybe a couple touch and goes. I don't think. No, they didn't get down below 5,000, so not really sure. But that's a Spybird. That's one that we watch pretty regularly too, so we'll keep our eye on that. And then this one here in 820 TJ, this is actually one of our early morning birds. This is going to be Swift Air, but I do want to point out who it's operated by. Now notice it's over here on the operator side. It does say Swift Light. Okay, iAero, that's the company that owns Swift Air. But notice the UMB Bank National Trustee. All right, note the time on this flight. It took off at 3:30 in the morning out of Chicago and landed at 4:41 a.m. in Nashville, Tennessee. 6. That was Saturday. So we are on the morning flight. Okay, there is that one. And I'm just pointing that out because we've heard a lot about these on the news. And every once in a while, you just kind of find one. And I want to show you that we did actually find. Okay, now this is N67TC. This is another one. This is actually, it's a lease, or should I say it's chartered through some type of an agreement. UMB Bank and a trustee again, but it's operating under Swift Air, okay? And I'm pointing this out because for a little while there, we did have, I think for a couple months, we actually had flights going out of El Paso to Kentucky. And so that was actually happening pretty frequently. And it was actually one of these DHL birds. And it was actually taking people and they were getting off. And so, but it was also wee hours of the morning. You're not really looking for a DHL plane to have people on it, right? So you go rolling that thing in at 2 a.m. They think it's just cargo, and it's not. Right? So, like I said, these cargo planes can be converted very quickly. It's a matter of popping out different skids. They've got that giant door on the side, and they basically pull out what they don't need, push in skids with seats, and voila, you got a passenger plane. So there is that. Now this one, I just wanted to show you. This actually was flying out of Phoenix today over to Reno, Nevada. But it contains anybody, but it is flying as a Swift Air aircraft. So I just want to point that out. Okay, so there is that one. Get over to the next. This is going to be Biggs Army Airfield. We got anything going on there right now? We do have this plane. This is a Atlas Air Giant that arrived from Baltimore, Washington. That is probably a poppy carrier, okay? Because they do move troops, they also bring folks in. So that more than likely is an arrival into Biggs that carrying poppies, okay? I don't see anything else on here. Then we do have this one, American Airlines flight that actually departed, but you notice you don't see it on the arrival. So I don't know, maybe it came in yesterday, but it left there, went just a little quick hop over to El Paso. So it's coming out of Biggs Army Airfield over to this location, which is literally on the other side of the runway. So I don't know if they did that through taxiing or if they actually just, I doubt. All right, so this is going to be our Gitmo bird departing. It looks like it is headed up to Portsmouth International. So that's up in New Hampshire from there. So that may be taking a load, and you may be getting some folks up there in New Hampshire now, right? That's going to be Biggs. Let's see if we missed anything on Thursday. Here, Thursdays. We had 2 birds on Thursday. So this is your Sierra Pacific little 737-500s. We've been tracking them coming in from Tucson and from Biggs. Like it, kind of weird. Normally it's already at Biggs, so how does it come from Biggs? Some things I just don't understand about the software. Okay. All right, N149XA. It's gonna be one of your Swift Air birds, and rolling out. And I want to point this one out because I thought this was interesting. There's a lot of stuff going on, folks, that we don't hear about. The news isn't covering it. For example, the Afghanistan piece, right? You still got poppies coming into the country. They're just not talking about it. So people think it's over and done. But reality is we're tracking them every single day, moving around our country and putting people into, homes. And so this is one of those situations right here. This is going out of Miami to Havana. But I just want to point out, I think, honestly, we're probably bringing people from Havana, Cuba, into our country. We know there's a situation going on down there, but it's very quiet. They're not saying much about it. But the reason I point this out is because this aircraft on Wednesday flew from, let's see. Let me back up just a little bit. There's Port-au-Prince in here. So on Tuesday, it flew from Alexandria, 72-hour holding facility, to Port-au-Prince. That tells you that you still got Haitians coming across the border, right? They were taken to Alexandria, processed, and kicked out of the country, and they flew them back to Port-au-Prince. Then from there, it went to Miami, been bouncing around a little bit, but Alexandria, it's doing a lot of rotations through the Alexandria piece, Valley to Miami, and then it was over in Dominican Republic. But then you get up here, and you're going to notice here, we got a lot of stuff. You got Miami on Thursday, Miami, Havana, Havana, Miami, Miami, Havana, back and forth, round robin. That thing is flown That's 3 legs that we're seeing now going in and out of Cuba. And so I honestly think they are taking people from Cuba, bringing them into Miami. Basically, welcome to America. All right. So there one is that. And then this is N397 SW again, another Swift Air. This one landed 52 minutes ago, went from Alexandria, Louisiana to Harlingen, Texas, which is a border town. So Alexandria, again, that's your 72-hour holding facility, but it parked right here, right on the border. Okay, border town. This is Brownsville, Harlingen, which is Valley. Okay. All right. Now, if we just look at the live flights today, you can see most of what we're looking at right now is south of the border for the most part. Got one going down into South America, one into Central America, coming out of Central America going. So let's see where we have here. Trying to roll down on you here. All right, Miami to Havana. So we saw those 2 already. You got this one coming out of Massachusetts to Philly. So that may be taking some poppies. Let's see, I don't know. Potentially, okay. Guatemala to Harlingen, Texas. El Salvador to, that looks like it's headed to Puerto Rico. And let's see if we got any other Valley headed. So this one is a border town flight, Harlingen, Texas to Washington State. All right. Those are basically taking people and rehoming them. All right. So either bringing it in the country or rehoming them. And so if you think, oh, this stuff's let up because you're not hearing anything on the news right now, it has not at all. I mean, you can look at the amount of flights these guys are flying every single day. They're moving a lot of people throughout our country. Okay, now let's get over here to Sparta. This is going to be Mccoy Airport. I'm just going to see if we got any activity. I just kind of spot check some stuff. We did have one earlier. Let me hit the arrivals board. The reason I was looking at that because we did have one come in, and it is it's gone. All right, let me back up. Let's see if we can find where it went. See if we got it on the departure board. So, of course, boy, I tell you what, man, these people are sneaky, bringing in flights, and then they wipe them. So this was actually an Atlas Air flight that came in to this place today. It's not there now. So, I mean, think about it. How devious do you have to be to take? You got all the trackers right here. You got the flight board, right? You can go over here to the arrival board. Let's just go look at the last 2 weeks worth of arrivals. Okay. And it's gone, right? There was an Atlas Air 767 in here, or 777, sorry. It's gone, not there anymore. So you literally, all these flights, and you go in and just pick one, cherry pick it, wipe it, gone. There you have it. Oh, amazing. Simply amazing. All right. So we did solve a mystery. I was talking about March Air Force Base or Reserve Base. Okay. Figured out what was going on here. This is actually, Amazon has a hub. Okay. And so these flights where you see them as Atlas Air coming in and out, all of these GTIs, those are all going to be, those are Amazon. Okay. So, and so that's what those are. Now, the ones that are not, the SPA right here, 737-500, coming in from Tucson, that is not. All right. So that would indicate that you probably do have some immigration stuff going on at that location. All right. And so, that's how you know that we're onto it. Right. And here's one of our birds, right? The SPA 708. That's one. We tracked it into, Cherry Point, and it'll probably go from here to Cherry Point. And so, so that's how you know we do have some activity going on. We also have some 777s coming in, United Airlines, that are coming in from San Francisco. That's their hub. And then they'll be rolling out. I don't see them over here on the departure board yet. Scheduled departures. Yeah, heading back to San Fran. So they're probably coming to get some, take them to San Francisco, which I'm sure they will love that place. And then Hawaii, most expensive place on the planet. Yeah, so that's your government dollars at work there, man. You go putting people up in Hawaii, that's pretty crazy. So And then this one here heading to Cherry Point. That's one of your spa birds. And so it looks like it's headed back out to North Carolina. Okay. All right. So that's going to be March Air Force Base. We'll keep an eye on it. This is clearly another immigration location, one of about a dozen bases that they're utilizing right now. Okay. All right. Now let's go to, this was the article, by the way, the Amazon Air starting operations. That was back in October 2018. So it's been going on for a little while. And so that's how we right. Let's get over to Guantanamo Bay. It should be normal operations. I'm not seeing anything out of the normal. We do have our normal flights. This one you don't see very often. This is actually going to be Gitmo 845. That is going to be your base commander rolling in. Typically, you don't see him on the board because that's a military aircraft. So kind of rare. But you got Sun Country. That's going to be your Uber for the Legal Eagles. And then we're going to have this one, this 302 AZ. That's a normal flight too. And there you have it. Nothing really new. We still have that big trial going on. So we expect to see flights coming down from DC or the Brown Zone, etc. Right? So it's kind of a normal thing. Okay, let me pop over here to Skyglass real fast to see if there's anything else. We do have a N686LH, which is a no radio emergency. And let me see if I can find that bad dude on here. It may have cleared already. Not seeing it on my map. But all right, this is any high flyers. We do have this one right here. It kind of catches my eye. It's a little Learjet 45. Let's see. Yeah, it's just coming in across the drink there. These are our little Dornier. That's one. That's that one. Now, this little up and down right here is where it actually lost signal. But that aircraft, those not familiar with it, that aircraft is actually, it's going to be one of your Spec Ops birds. All right. Why they fly something so pretty and colorful and easy to see, I don't know. You'd think the thing would be like, matte black rolling in, but it's not. That's a Spec Ops bird, and it looks to me like it's coming out of, it came out of the Columbia area. So like I said, they've been doing operations down here for years. And so that one's back and forth. It'll actually cruise up here near Crestview or up here in the Panhandle here. So there is that. Got a little one out here, a little BE-20 Rebel. I can figure out how to have it just basically popped on. So, all right. Worry too much about it. So again, the pinks on this one are going to be people that are masking their visibility, so you can't really see them. They don't want to be seen. And then the rest of these aircraft are all military. So, all right, let me back up. Let's fingers crossed that B Exchange has been giving me a really hard time last several times I've used it. So for probably at least a week now. So, all right, let me turn filters back on. Okay, Top Cat 5. All right, so what I want to do is get out here to the West Coast real fast. Just take a quick look. We did talk a lot about the East Coast. Let's see, let that marinate for a second. See the fact that we've got Night Watch out here in San Francisco on the West Coast makes you kind of wonder. Don't see anything going on up here in the Kenosha area yet, but that'll be a spot we'll watch. We'll start looking for spy birds, see if we get anything doing activity. And just got a lot of tankers. Yeah, so these are all tankers. There's your E6 off the West Coast. And just out running around. Same thing they're doing on the other side too. So I did see Air Force 2 was up a minute ago. That bad dude look like it's headed to Ohio. That's a TFR that was overplaced. And of course, Flashbang's going home. So that's the only other two TFRs we have going on of substance today. So that's going to be it. You guys, listen, be safe out there. Stay frosty. This weekend could be really interesting with that trial ending and that verdict. So God bless. Talk soon. Monkey out. Check out the latest gear and products at Monkey Werx US. untitled.com.